We're going to wait a few minutes and let everyone that's in the waiting room come over and join with their audio. Please make sure you stay on mute during the presentation. We will have an opportunity for questions.
Hello, ma'am. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
We're letting everyone in the waiting room now, and we'll get started in just a minute.
Got a nice crowd.
Yep.
That's good.
All right. We want to be mindful of everyone's time. Good morning. My name is Aisha Driggers. I'm with the City of Columbia Office of Business Opportunities. Thank you so much for joining us today for our Profit First webinar. I'm going to start our slides so we can introduce you to our office if you are not familiar. Before I get started, I do want to give an opportunity for our director, Ms. Melissa Lindler, to welcome everyone.
Thanks, Aisha. I'm not going to keep you all long. Thank you so much for putting yourselves and your businesses first and making sure that this workshop is part of your agenda for today. We hope you get something from it to help you through this process as we all try to recover from COVID. We're going to have a number of events like this scheduled, virtual events scheduled like this over the course of the next couple of months. And any ideas or any trainings or technical assistance that you may need, please let us know. But we look forward to having you here today with us. And I want to thank Mr. Hughes and Ms. Brown for joining us as well. Thanks, Aisha. Bye.
Thank you, Melissa. So we're going to get started. As I said, I'd like to introduce our office for those of you that are not familiar with us. Our mission is to help businesses grow and expand. And we do that through a variety of program areas. One of those is our commercial lending. We offer financial assistance to startup and existing businesses for growth, expansion, retention, and the creation of new jobs. Also, we offer the assistance in the redevelopment of commercial corridors. Our loan officer, Brett Whiting, is on the call today, and he'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have, or if you would like to schedule a meeting with our office, we can absolutely do that and provide information on how we can assist your business. We also have a contractor and supplier diversity area where we offer training and support for city initiatives that are designed to increase the local contractors' capacity to compete for government contracts and other procurement opportunities. We do that through our subcontractor outreach program, mentor protege program, our local business enterprise preference policy, and the Columbia Disadvantaged Business Enterprise. Our staff members on the call from that area are Juliet Nelly, Latanya Germany, and Kalina Ginyard. Lastly, we have our technical assistance, education, and advocacy. We offer business development assistance and courses for startups and existing businesses looking to grow and expand. And as Melissa mentioned, we offer topics that include marketing, use of social media, business plan development, finances, legal issues, and more. So if there is a training or technical assistance that you need specifically for your business, I will provide our contact information. We'd be happy to sit down and discuss those opportunities with you. Also, we have our support staff on the call. Sandria Robinson and Carla Eichelberger are on as well. Here's our contact information. We are located at 1401 Main Street in downtown Columbia on the 4th floor. You can give us a call at 803-545-3950, or you can email us at the email provided below. We'll be happy to, again, meet with you and discuss where you are in your business and what resources are available. We're very proud of the partnerships that we have in the city, and we have some of our partners on the call today. Go to our next slide. So right now I'd like to introduce Cheryl Sally with the Benedict College Women's Business Center.
Thank you, Aisha, and thank you all. Thank you to the City of Columbia for having and doing these workshops, this program surrounding your money, your finances, and that part of your business system. Hello again, everyone. Thank you to the SBA too, who's on the call you'll hear from shortly, who is a major funder for Benedict College Women's Business Center. I bring you greetings on behalf of Benedict College Women's Business Center. I serve there as the director. Our official launch was last September. So we're coming up on a year anniversary since the launch, and just happy to be here and working and providing services in this community in South Carolina. A little bit about the purpose, the mission, and the vision of the Women's Business Center. Primarily, we want to create a gateway out of poverty for our socially and economically disadvantaged women entrepreneurs. And we do that in several different ways, but mainly providing the information, providing the tools, providing the education that's going to help our women, our entrepreneurs, small businesses either start and or grow their businesses. And while we do focus on women business owners, we do not discriminate based on race or gender. We serve all small businesses, but the focus is on women entrepreneurs, particularly women of color. We provide an array of services, our core services and COVID services, resiliency and disaster recovery planning, everything related to business planning, writing the vision, understanding standard operating procedures, writing those procedures, developing that infrastructure. Businesses and just so glad that we're doing this program, so glad that Ms. Brown and Mr. Hughes is here to talk about a major part of your business infrastructure, and that's your money.
Come here.
Okay. But we provide those services for your business, from business planning, strategic planning, financial management, helping business owners to do their financial projections, or either individuals who are looking to start, helping them to fill out the different financial applications. We provide services related to government contracting and certifications. But in all of that, the customers, helping you with the marketing plan and marketing strategies and so on and so forth. At the end of the day, you have to have a solid foundation, a solid infrastructure, and really know business management and business systems. So we provide those services. Everything we do one-on-one is at no cost. No cost to our clients. The one-on-one services, we offer programming. We've been doing a lot of webinars and workshops and Zooms, and either hosting or co-hosting like we're doing, or partnering like we're doing today. And it's just so glad to be working with our partners, with the City of Columbia and the other partners in this community. Our passion is to see our women, our small businesses, our minority businesses grow, not only just grow sustainable, profitable, successful businesses, but leave a legacy for their families and leave a legacy in this community. So whatever we need to do is get the information to everyone. We serve all industries, no matter what, and we are statewide. And like I said, we couldn't do it without our partnerships, our public partnerships, and also we have several private partnerships. We partner with CPA firms. We have a partnership with Nexum Pruitt Law Firm too, and they provide pro bono legal services and counsel for our WBC clients. That's really, really valuable. And marketing, so on and so forth. We do have some upcoming programming coming on board. And we do have a special announcement about what's coming over the next 6 months. So I'm gonna hold that, and I'm gonna stop right here because I have my pen and paper ready to take some notes from great presenters today. It's a valuable nugget. So thank you all so much for having us.
Thank you, Cheryl. That was great. And Kalina did share your contact information in the chat. And I see someone also had a question about resources for businesses located outside of the city. I see Kalina answer that as well. So our financial opportunities, our loans, those are limited to businesses that are within the city, but every other program area we have is available for any business. And we'd be happy to talk to you specifically on how your business can work with our agency. So please contact our office and we'd be happy to share that with you. So next I want to introduce Angela Brewer with SBA.
Good morning, everyone. Am I live?
Yep, you're good.
Good morning, everyone. As she mentioned, my name is Angela Brewer. I'm a business opportunity specialist with South Carolina District Office of SBA. My primary goal or my primary job is to work with small business trying to grow their business or expand their business through federal contracting. I give classes, seminars, talk to small business on how to register to do federal contracting. That's my job. But SBA offer access to capital, counseling, and we do actually offer direct funding for disaster loan like the pandemic that we're going through. When I say we offer access, we do not lend money, but we have lending partners that have been vetted by SBA that do our participating lending. SBA have 4 loan programs. We have the micro loan, which is $50,000 or less. We have the SBA Express loan, which is $350,000 or less. Then we have the 504 and the 7A loan, which is $10 million or less, $5 and $10 million or less. All our loan programs are through banks, so we don't do the direct lending, but SBA will back 75 to 80% of that loan, but you will have to go through a bank to get those loans, and you need a business plan, and you would need your last 2 years of taxes and your last 2 years of financials. So if you're looking for a small business loan, SBA do offer access to that. We offer access to counseling. We don't do the direct counseling. We can do counseling, give you some ideas, but we don't do the direct counseling. Our counseling goes through our Women's Business Center, where we have 3 now. We have Cheryl Sally and her team at Benedict College. We have the Community Work Bank, that's Women's Business Center, that's located in upstate. And we have I Hope, that's located in the Charleston area. But as Cheryl said, I know they cover the whole state, the entire state of South Carolina, but you can reach out to the Community Works Bank or I Hope Bank, and either one of them can assist you. And we also have SCORE. There are many SCORE offices around the state. And then we have Small Business Development Center, SBDC, that's located with major universities here in South Carolina, but there is a SBDC located throughout the country if you're not just from South Carolina. So if you have startup needs, expansion needs, certification need help with getting your loan packet together, getting your business plan together, our WBC, our SBDC, and our SCORE can assist you with doing that. And when we talk about direct lending, here in the district office, we don't do direct lending, but we have a disaster team that is available to assist with any disaster. So if you are still in need or your business were affected by COVID and you are in business as of February 2020, you can still apply for the EIDL loan or the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, EIDL, at COVID-19relief.sba.gov. And there are still funds available, and they will be available until December 31st, 2021. So if you're still needing assistance because your business was affected by COVID, there is still a program available. The PPP is gone, but there is a PPP portal for those who receive the PPP for less than $150,000. There is a portal that is very quick and simple and easy that you can go to ask for forgiveness if you receive that. And thank you all for joining me. Thank you, Aisha, for having me here today. And I look forward to working with anyone who needs assistance. Just reach out to our office. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. And Kalina did provide your contact information as well. We are so proud of our partnership with the Benedict College Women's Business Center and SBA. They are very passionate about helping small businesses. They're sincere about making sure that we provide the resources that your businesses need. So feel free to give any of us a call and we'll make sure we get you in contact with the appropriate agency. So now I would like to introduce our presenters for today. First, we have Stephen M. Hughes. He's a financial wellness expert and Reiki practitioner. He blends the energy healing principles of Reiki, the study of financial psychology, and proven wealth strategies to help clients achieve greater financial clarity and confidence. Stephen goes beyond the basics to help people address the root causes of their money problems, offering simple frameworks that lead to a healthy financial mindset and lasting change. His powerful and practical financial guidance has been featured in notable publications such as Forbes, Business Insider, Yahoo Finance, and Credit.com. He serves as an ongoing financial expert for CBS WLTX's weekly Money Monday segment. And as the founder and executive director of the nonprofit No Money, Hughes shows Black college students how to create a legacy of financial literacy and wellness. For more information from Stephen, you can visit his website at www.stephenmhughes.com. I'd also like to briefly provide a bio for Ms. Atia Brown. She's the owner of The Savvy Accountant, where she solves tax issues for her clients. She has to date saved them over $3 million in tax savings with her tax strategy plans and tax help. She has a special place in her heart for small online business owners and real estate agents, as well as investors. Now I'd like to turn it over to Stephen. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, Aisha. And can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yes.
Excellent. All right. Hey, y'all. As Aisha mentioned, I'm Stephen Hughes, and I'm glad to be coming back to y'all with another workshop to really help our businesses get healthy and grow. And as she mentioned, she talked about Atia Brown, who is a near and dear place in my heart because she's my CPA. And I think that it'll be very helpful for everybody on this presentation to jump in with Atia, because as she mentioned, she's helped business owners save over $3 million, and we should update that. It's over 4 now. She is crushing these numbers. And so I definitely want to have some time before the end of this presentation to really sit down and have some Q&A with Atia and I, so y'all can ask all the questions. But before we jump into that, we really want to focus on this presentation and really getting a habit or building better habits for our businesses. And so if you're a new entrepreneur or you've been an entrepreneur for a while, either way, I love that you took the leap, because we're together in this thing. But in addition to building business, we have to make sure that we're building business in a healthy way. And so that's why, the Columbia Office of Business Opportunities wanted to bring this workshop in front of y'all today to really help us all build business in a healthy way. And this workshop is definitely to be focused on creating income and profit, and also growing your income and profit. So if you are, as I mentioned, an existing entrepreneur, we got something for you too. We'll talk a little bit about the habits that we form, not only for our personal money habits, but also for our businesses. And then we'll talk more about the book and some resources that you all can access so that you can really hit the ground running after this presentation. And so just for starters, for anybody who's on this presentation, how many of y'all have read the book Profit First? Just drop a 1 in the chat box for me, just so I can get a heat check of the room, because for those who have read it, this will be a refresher or a reminder. And then for those who haven't, then you will learn a bunch of new things that you want to tap into after this presentation. So I think we've only got a couple of people on the call who's read the book. All right, well, we will start cooking with gas here. And as Aisha mentioned, I am a financial wellness expert and a Reiki practitioner. But before all of that, I was trying to get my money together, right? And as far as really building a healthy business, before you can build a healthy business, you have to have some healthy money habits. And so, as I mentioned to y'all, we've been, or as Aisha mentioned to you, I'm the executive director and founder of No Money. But before that happened, I made every money mistake possible, y'all. I grew up in a household where we didn't talk about money. And because of that, I took all of those experiences with me to college and had 7 maxed out credit cards. I had overdraft fees to the point they closed my accounts. I had repossessions because one wasn't enough, of course. I got evicted. I was doing all the things that you could do wrong with money. And it wasn't until I really hit financial rock bottom where I started changing my mindset and started changing the way that I was thinking about making money in regards to starting a business. And so I remember I just got fired from my job. I got my car repossessed, and the next day was my birthday. And I told my girlfriend that I would take her out to dinner. And so we went out to dinner. I didn't have any money, and I didn't have a car. And so I told her, like, hey, let's just walk around the block to this Chinese restaurant. It's right there. I know that I can afford it because I have $10 in my account. The vegetable fried rice only cost $6.47 with tax. And so we got a plate, or both of us got plates, but both of us got plasticware. And when we sat down, she gave me the best financial planning meeting that I've ever been to. And so she had asked me, if I got into a position where I needed $1,000, like, how would you help me? And at first I was like, well, and she told me I couldn't ask any of my friends. And at first I was like, well, I guess I'd ask my best friend, Rich. And she's like, well, no, you can't ask any of your friends to bail you out of this. Like, how would you help me? And I said, well, I guess I would just go back to selling. She's like, you can't do anything crazy or illegal. Like, how would you help me in this situation? And then I came up with an idea like, oh, well then, I guess I would just cut 20 lawns for $50 a piece and we'd be in the game. And she's like, well, you don't have a car or a lawnmower. Like, what's going on? Like, what are we talking about? And at that point, like, I realized that not only that I couldn't help her, but I couldn't help myself in regards of my financial position. And I wanted to change that more than ever because I told y'all I just had gotten fired from a job. My car had got repossessed. And for the business owners who are in here, whether you are side hustling or you've been working a business for a while, you know the feeling of wanting to provide for yourself. You know the feeling of wanting to change the situation and the story. And so as I decided that I was going to take business serious, someone gave me this book called Profit First so that I could lay the foundation. And for people who have been through financial challenges and obstacles, you will know that you need some type of resource, oftentimes outside of yourself, to get to where you're trying to go. And books are perfect for that as far as resources, if you read them and if you put them into action. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the action that happens from those books and the action that can happen from the Profit First book that I just told you guys about. So as I told you, my financial habits at the time were just terrible, y'all. I mean, it was bad. But when we're thinking about our money habits, how do you create your personal money habits, right? When it comes to us thinking about money or even operating with money, this starts at the age of 3 years old. And oftentimes we don't even think about it. We're not even aware of it. But at the age of 3, we start putting an equation together that is money plus value, right? And we're trying to figure out what that looks like. Like, for instance, like when I was younger, value for me looked like McDonald's money. We didn't have it often, but now I have McDonald's money. I never want to go there, as like my friend Esso says. But as far as your habits, thinking about like how I would spend money, like maybe fast food was high on my list. But when it comes to us growing, whether you were 3 and aware of you learning these money habits, or whether you were 30 or 40 or 50 or 60, thinking about all of the things that we have seen when it comes to money, what we have heard when it comes to money, and what we've experienced. All of those things shape how we behave with money now. And it creates our personal money habits. So I know that oftentimes people mention, oh, this person is a saver, or, oh, this person's a spender. Well, that comes from different experiences that they've had. That comes from different things they've heard about money. That comes from different things they've seen with money. And our personal money experiences shape how our money is going to look for our situation. And that also really gives us a taste of what we're going to do for our business. And so the things that you hear for your business, the things that you see when it comes to other entrepreneurs in the community or in your family, the things you've experienced, in business or as a customer or consumer of a business is going to shape how you operate your business. And so before we work on like the habits that we have as business owners when it comes to our money, I want to talk about some of the things that we've heard as business owners that kind of shaped some of the ways that we've moved with business. So let's talk about some of the myths that we hear when it comes to building business, right? And y'all can drop some myths about business in the chat box too, like the things that you've heard that may or may not be right. And so for the first one, if you build it, they will come. If you just start a business, like just going out on Facebook and telling people that you just started a business is not enough, right? Even trying to push your friends and family members or guilt tripping them into supporting your business probably isn't going to be the best business idea when it comes to marketing. And so when it comes to your business, it's not enough to just start the business. When you start it and announce it, that's not enough either. Like we know for a fact as successful business owners that you have to have a marketing plan. And the marketing plan needs to include some resources behind it. And so if you're just starting a business, if you haven't connected with people like Cheryl Sally and the other business partners of the Columbia OBO, maybe you don't have the funds at the front end and you're going to put a lot of time or sweat equity, as we call it, into the business to get that marketing going. But either way, like you have to have a marketing plan to bring the customers to you. The second myth that I'll talk about real quick is a great idea is enough to build a business. A lot of us are familiar with the show Shark Tank. That's taught us a lot about valuation and how people pitch their businesses. But Shark Tank will also have you feeling like, oh, I should have thought about that. Or that's a great idea. This is $1 million idea that I had. You're sitting on your couch, though. I don't want to sound like the Everest commercial, but you're sitting on your couch thinking about this great idea that you had, and it's not enough to build a business. As entrepreneurs, we know people who are in our friend group, our family group, and in our community who thought about, oh, I want to start a business, or I want to be my own boss, or I want to pay myself. I want to be responsible for that. And they've been saying that for the past 5 years, 10 years, right? I tell people that oftentimes we are nervous or afraid of what we can do when it comes to money and business. Because when I was younger, I remember like my family telling me to stay away from credit cards, and my aunt being very specific about this too, and her telling me that it messed up her credit, right? This was before college. I haven't been to college in years, and she still has bad credit. And it's not enough to just say like, oh, I would like to have good credit. Just like it's not enough to have a great idea to build business. We have to put some action behind what it looks like to rebuild our financial situation, whether it's personal or in business. And last but not least, when it comes to the myths, and some of y'all might give me pushback on this, so I'm looking forward to seeing this, but that sales minus expenses equal profits. So if you are familiar with this equation, just drop a 1 in the chat box for me to let me know that this is something you've heard of. I think that most of us, when we start a business, we've heard of this specific equation, like how we're going to get profits out of our business, right? And for the people who, and I see the numbers rolling in now. All right, cool. So a lot of us have been taught this, that sales minus expenses equal profits. And similar to when personal finance educators or you will hear speakers talk about money, and they'll say that you should pay yourself first. So what does that really mean? When it comes to paying yourself first, when you're managing your personal finances, that means that you're going to, once the income comes in, you're going to kick the money to the side that you want to save first. It's not that you're going to spend and pay all your bills and then figure out, put some money to the side to dine out, because I'm a foodie, and so that's something that I do for sure. But it's more than that. It's deciding that you're going to save the money first so that you can hit your money goals or hit your financial vision that you've created. And if you are not saving the money first, right, then your finances may look very similar to this, where you have money coming in, and then after all the expenses, after all the things you spent for the month and getting ready for the next month, then you will see how much money you have left so that you can save towards your money goals. Well, that's a myth. for successful and healthy businesses. And whether your business has been ramping up and roaring through the COVID-19 crisis since last March, or you may be an entrepreneur that has had to weather the storm and change how your business looks and feels for your customers and your consumers. All of us have been affected in some way, shape, or form by this pandemic. And so we have to look at some things differently so that we can build some healthier businesses. And so the perfect place to start is foundational things like sales minus expenses equal profits. And just like working or paying yourself first, you want to take your profit first going forward. So this is a foundational principle of the book, Profit First. And the equations that are on y'all's screen, like I'm not going to jump into a whole lot of math this morning. Don't worry, it's all good. But the equations that you see on your screen now, they may look very similar, but they have a huge impact on how different they are. So the top equation, sales minus expenses equal profits, is something that many of us have heard, as y'all seen in the chat box. But for the people who want a healthy business, who want to pay yourself first, also want to pay your business first, you want to focus on the second equation that we have here, sales minus profits equal expenses. And so that is literally taking profit first. Like that is the foundational idea as far as making sure that you are not missing out on your profit as a business owner. And you'll hear businesses say that, oh, I want to be profitable, or it took me 10 months or 12 months to break even, or it took me 2 years to become profitable. What would it look like or feel like to have a profitable business in your first month in business? When you make your first dollar, you have profits on in your business from that first dollar. Like, how would that feel? Or how would that really look for people who are building businesses who plan on them being legacy businesses that you're going to hand off to your next generation? Like, how would a profitable business from the start be beneficial to your next generation, to your kids? And so really, like, if you don't remember anything else, if you don't remember my name, Atia's name, that you can get all these great resources from, the Columbia OBO, this is the big thing that you have to remember when you leave this presentation, that sales, that you want to take your profits first before you start kicking out expenses or paying yourself or anything else like that. And we're going to jump into what that can look like for your business very soon. But just for people who are seeing this equation for the first time, like, let me know, how long have you been in business? So in the chat box, just hit me with a year, 12 years, like, let me know how long you guys have been in business. And then I want to get a better idea of what your business looks and feels like for you when it comes to your profit. And so let's jump into the chat box real quick. I see that Ari's been in business for 4 years, 3 years for Angela, 2 years for Bianca. Okay, awesome. 6 years for Annette. Y'all are veterans in this thing. I like it. And so as we're seeing the time roll in for the people who've been in business for years, also, like, let me know what's your profit, how comfortable you feel with your business in regards to your profit. And when it comes to seeing this equation, right, I think that a lot of things with money can be related to fitness, because at the top of the year, a lot of us make New Year's resolutions that we want to change the way that we are eating or change the way that we're looking, because at the top of the list for a lot of New Year's resolutions, it's either about money or about losing weight, saving more or getting the pounds off you. And so for me, like during this retreat to home that started last March, I had, just like many others, I had experienced seeing a family member go through something medical when it comes to COVID. And my dad last April had actually slipped into a coma through a surgery that he had. And, I've known that my dad has been diabetic since 1989. He's had some health challenges, but nevertheless, a lot of people who've been, in this retreat to home since last March have seen different things that are unrelated to COVID happen to their family members. But because of COVID, we couldn't like see my father as often as we wanted to. And so a lot of those things that were coming up were stress on me and my family members. And stress for me looked like not sleeping as much as I usually did, not eating as much as I usually did, really just not taking care of myself. And there was one night that I woke up maybe 2 in the morning and my heart was just pounding out of my chest. And so, I'm a healthy person. I go to the doctor to get my annual physical, but that's usually about it. I haven't been sick I'm knocking on wood here, in years. And so when it came to that happening, I was like, oh man, something's going on. Let me call the ambulance. And when I called 911, the ambulance got there, they told me that my blood pressure was off the charts, like to the point where I may be approaching stroke level blood pressure. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. And after that happened, I saw a doctor virtually because, everyone was still trying to figure out like what things looked like at the time when it came to medical service if you weren't in an emergency position. But when I saw a doctor virtually, they told me like, hey, you need to cut out the salt. You need to get on a plant-based nutrition plan. She had very specific directives for someone who wasn't really excited about taking medicine like me. And so with these different things that she told me, there were habits that I needed to build for myself, like for my personal life. And at the time when all these things were going on, then I got a chance to see my primary physician. She let me know that it was really just stress, like for everything that was going on with my father. But the things that I put into place from the habits that the doctor recommended to me, like I've seen excellent results from that. I even joined a fitness program called Eager to Motivate, or E2M on Facebook. And the best thing about this program was that it had very specific plans. Like, hey, every day you're going to eat 3 meals. Each meal is going to consist of a vegetable, a protein, and a healthy fat. And those are the type of instructions that I need. Like when it comes to eating right, when it comes to working out, like everything was laid out. And so from the result from all of this is that I ended up losing about 35 pounds, and really all of my my blood pressure, my cholesterol, just everything returned to normal or better. But it was all because I implemented some specific habits, right? And so let's talk a little bit about like habits that you have for your business, or maybe that we should have for our business as entrepreneurs that are building a healthy business. So a question that comes up when it comes to talking about money for your business is how often do you check your financial statements? And I'm talking about your income statement, your cash flow statement, your balance sheet. And Cheryl Sally can probably tell you exactly how to run these things down over there at the Women's Business Center. But for those who are not familiar with your financial statements, how often do you look at them? How often do you check with your financial professional to go over your financial statements, right? And I really want y'all, this is not a rhetorical question. Like, how often do you think you should check your financial statements? Is it monthly? Is it quarterly? Is it, semi-annually every 6 months? Like, give me an idea of how often y'all think y'all should check your financial statements. All right. And okay, Mrs. Bloodworth, I like it. She said weekly. And that said daily, and that has once a week. All right. So y'all are cooking with gas here. So when it comes to your financial statements, you definitely want to see them more often than not, right? And at the very least, you want to see them monthly or more often. But for a lot of entrepreneurs, whether you're a new entrepreneur or an existing, like a seasoned entrepreneur, a lot of entrepreneurs aren't making their financial decisions off of their financial statements. What happens is that entrepreneurs end up leaning into bank-based accounting, right? We check out, just like our personal bank accounts, we check our balance. Okay, there's money there. I can go spend it. Excellent. And we dip out. And so what the great thing about Profit First, similar to the fitness program that I told y'all about, is that it has some principles that gives you a clear-cut idea of how you can make your business more healthy in regards of how you're managing your money. Whether you are as vigilant on checking your financial statements as Mariana or Deloria when it comes to weekly or biweekly or even monthly checks. For those who haven't answered or may not check your financial statements that often, don't worry. Like, we're going to get some things in place so that you feel a little bit better about how you're managing your money in your business. And so some of these principles, there are 4 principles for the Profit First planning, for the Profit First system, to make sure that you have a healthy business. These principles are similar to like getting back on track when it comes to your fitness. So that you can see the first principle is to use smaller plates. And what that specifically means is for the Profit First program or for the Profit First system, instead of all of your money being in one bank account where you can see, okay, this is how much money I've brought in, this is how much money I'm going to use for expenses, I'm going to pay my taxes out of this account, I'm going to use this account for paying myself, I'm going to use this account for maybe going out to eat, I'm going to use just like, that's the wild way of this wild west way of managing your money as a business owner. And so when it comes to using smaller plates, that really means separating your money into different accounts so that you have the ability to see that you have some money here for expenses, you have some money here for taxes, and I'm sure that Atia loves to hear that. You have some money here for your owner's pay. And as I mentioned earlier, you have some money to the side that you and other business owners can take profit from the business. And so using smaller plates, when you're like deep dishing your food, and when it comes to fitness, when you use smaller plates, you end up eating less food. And so instead of like when I'm a first generation Jamaican American. And so both of my parents are from Jamaica, and they were, just like many other households, they were vigilant on saying, you better finish everything on your plate because I bought the food, I made it, you need this food. But one thing that I see that's different with my brother and my sister-in-law as they parent my nephew, who's a 5-year-old that started school today, is that they'll ask him like, hey, are you finished? Like, are you still hungry? And it's way smaller plates than I ever remembered eating it through as a child. And so it's a different conversation when it comes to using smaller plates for your business. And you have a very clear cut and very specific way that you see your finances in your business. So we're going to talk about how you can divide your money into those 4 small plates a little bit later. But I want you guys to think about like using smaller plates or separating your money in your business so that you can see exactly what you can spend. And then the second principle is eating your vegetables first. And in this regard, your vegetables are your profit, your owner's pay account, and your taxes, right? These 3 accounts are super important because 1, we want to have profitable businesses, right? So you definitely want to send your money to your profit account first. 2, you are the most important employee for your business. Or maybe another business owner is your key employee for your business. Like, if you lost this employee, it's more than just brain drain or expertise and experience leaving the business. The whole thing might come crashing down, right? And so you want to make sure that you are also putting money to the side to continue the financial stability of your key employee, your star player, who is probably you. And the other account that you want to make sure as far as eating your vegetables first is you want to make sure that you kick your taxes to the side because Uncle Sam really does not care how healthy your business is. He wants his money on time. And if you don't give it to him on time, he wants interest and penalties on top of that. And so we don't like paying fees. Like, I hate fees. Like, I absolutely hate fees. And so I don't want you to pay fees either. But when it comes to putting money to the side for your business, you definitely want to focus on those 3 accounts first: your profit account, your owner's pay account, and your taxes account. All right. So next up, as we are using smaller plates and we're separating our money, as we are putting money to the side as far as profit, or putting our profit to the side first, and then additionally putting our taxes and our owner's pay to the side, the third principle is removing temptation from yourself. And like, personally, this was perfect for me because when I was in college, I would try to save $25 a week, and I would always transfer it from my savings to my checking to like buy food or like alcohol that weekend. And so I was terrible on removing temptations back then. And so I realized like, oh, I should probably open another bank account that's not connected to my primary account so that I do not see the money, because inconvenient money gets saved. Like if you have to get out of your way to go and get this money from another bank, that money is going to stay there and stack up. And so the same thing happens when you are in your business managing your finances. So remove your temptation from wanting to spend your tax money in your expenses or putting it back into the business. Remove the temptation of wanting to pull your profit money back and putting it back into the business when those specific accounts have very clear cut jobs. The profit account is not your owner's pay. It's not to be investing back into the business until you get to the end of the year with your professional, your financial professionals, your CPA. But when it comes to removing temptations, open two accounts at another bank so that you can remove the idea of trying to transfer money from one account to the other when you're covering expenses in the early days of your business, or if something hits where you don't have access to money. Like last year when everything happened with the pandemic, I don't think any of us were expecting the abrupt stop in business that happened. And so if you didn't take advantage of things like the PPP loan or other government assistance and grants, like the City of Columbia offered grants and so did the county, and so did the SBA. There are a ton of capital resources that we could have used for our business. But one thing that I don't want people to use, whether it's a pandemic or something else that happens in your business that makes you say like, oh, I need more cash, that you don't pull that cash from your taxes, that you don't pull that cash from your profits. Because if you do, those things won't be there to take care of the job and the responsibilities they have. And so remove your temptation from wanting to get into those accounts by having a primary bank that you bank with, that your checking account is, that you're receiving your revenue and your income in, and then open a separate account or another account or two accounts at another bank so that you can remove the temptation of grabbing those taxes and putting them into your primary checking account. And then last but not least, when it comes to the principles, is to get into a rhythm, right? If you checked out the chat box when I was asking about people looking at their financial statements, you can see that people have a rhythm. Every 2 weeks, they're almost daily, right? Weekly, people are looking at their financial statements. And so the Profit First Foundation really works when you build a rhythm for yourself on managing your money. Whether that, and that rhythm looks like, looking at all of your expenses and making those moves that we're talking about now and separating your money in twice a month, where you don't have to look at your accounts every single day or all of your accounts every single day, but you have a clear cut view of where your money is, where it's going, and what it's supposed to be doing, right? And as you build that rhythm, as you build that habit, you will start to get in a groove of seeing like, oh, you know what? This is fun to pay payroll and pay bills and to clear these things up and to see how my business is growing. I remember my first profit distribution after I checked out Profit First. My first profit distribution was like $11, y'all. And I was like, man, what's going on? Like, how am I supposed to really cash out with this type of profit? And as the profit has grown, where I've seen hundreds of dollars in my profit payouts every quarter, or thousands sometimes, it's like a bonus. It really, really goes back to having that money muscle and having that habit that I've built on having that rhythm to say, okay, every single month, I'm going to sit down and do this. And every quarter, I'm going to sit down and take these steps, right? And so I know that we're talking about the Profit First principles, and I want you all to have really clear-cut ways on putting this thing into action. So, and I see that there was a question, which version of Profit First is the best to purchase? There are different versions on Amazon, Yvette asked. And so, Yvette, I'll tell you that there's the first version that I read, like you will see a blue and green cover with a piggy bank on the cover. That version works. Then you also see a version that says Profit First big in the middle that has a ton of words on the cover as well. That version will work too, because these are redesigned covers, and then there are a little bit of resources that are added to the book. But either one that you get, you'll still be able to access the online resources for the book. All right. And so that's an excellent question as far as people jumping in to, you're welcome. That's an excellent question as far as people jumping in and really getting a clear picture on how to make your business more healthy with this profit first system. And so if you haven't read the book and this is your first time hearing about profit first, you're probably saying like, this is a lot of information as far as principles that we need to implement. And I'm talking about fitness and finances. So let me just make it clear on what you need to get started when it comes to the profit first system. So this is bank balance accounting, right? As I mentioned before, it may not be you looking at your financial statements every single day, like your balance sheet or your income statement or your cash flow statement every day or every week or every month, like some of the entrepreneurs mentioned in the chat. But I know just from working with entrepreneurs over the past years that people tend to look at their bank account every single day. They want to make sure the money is there. They want to make sure the check cleared or this or that is taken out of their account. And so to not fight the habit that you already have, this type of financial management is to help you leverage that habit already, right? And so it'll be great if you look at your financial statements regularly, but this is something that you can use and put into action that will help you clear up any issues that you have on managing your business finances now, and then getting better going down the road as you're getting more comfortable looking at your financial statements. So you may have one account for your business. And just so we can get an idea, give me an idea of how many accounts y'all have when it comes to your business. So not your personal. When it comes to your business, how many accounts do you have? How many checking accounts and savings accounts total? All right. So for some business owners, when they get started, and just to be clear, like PayPal is not a business account. Stripe, that's not a business account. These are payment processing systems. I do not want you to be using PayPal as a checking account or a business account. So I'm looking at the chat. I see 2, I see 3. There's some people have 4 and 6. And when it comes to these accounts, you want to have a job for every single account that you have. And so if you're starting your business, you may go to the bank and you may open one account to get things started, right? As you open this account to get things started, when someone pays you, the money's going to come out of that account. When you are paying expenses, the money will also come out of that account. Well, as you've been seasoned as a business owner and you want to make some changes into how you're managing your money, this is how you can put this system in place. And of course, grab the book, whether it's audio book or the physical book, if you are a page turner like me, so that you can get more insight on how this looks for your business. But just for starters, that one account that you opened when you first started your business is perfect to use as your income account. So that's your money pool where all of your money is going to come into your business, right? Anytime that somebody pays you to come into that account. And set your calendar, like set 2 dates in your calendar for each month to have this month, the bi-weekly money meeting with yourself for your business. And so the 2 dates that the book uses, and I use these dates as well, is the 10th of every month and the 25th of every month. The cool thing about these dates is that usually when people are thinking about money, they'll think about the things that they pay in the middle of the month and at the beginning or end of the month. So thinking about the 1st and the 15th. Well, if you are taking care of all of your finances and you're getting a clear snapshot on the 25th, you're ready for the end of the month or the beginning of the month on the 1st. If you are going through these meetings and really checking your checks and balances on the 10th of every month, you'll see everything that's coming for the middle of the month or the 15th. And so that first account that you ever opened as a business owner, as your money comes in there, we talked about on the earlier in this presentation on separating your money, right? So at the top of this list, your profit is your number one thing that you want to separate your money into. And you will see that you have 4 different accounts on this list or on this slide this is how many accounts that you would like to open, like for these specific jobs. So one account is going to have a job that is only responsible for your profit. There's another account that will only be responsible for paying you as an owner. There's another account that will only be responsible for your taxes. And then another account that will only be responsible for your expenses. And so let's start at the top when it comes to your profit account. So as you open this checking account, this account is not for your take-home pay. This is specifically to separate your profit from your revenue and to make sure that you have money set to the side so you can invest not only in your business, but in your star player, yourself, when it comes to building your business. And so as you open this account, like it's a primary account, as the book is called Profit First, that you open this account and separate your money from your revenue, right? Another place you're going to send your money is your owner's pay account. So you're going to open another checking account specifically to pay yourself. And if you are and I'll let Atia like get a little bit heavier into this because I love talking to her about taxes. The taxes are not my jam, which is why I'm so appreciative of our relationship because she loves taxes. But when it comes to your owner's pay account, you want to make sure that you are paying yourself consistent to how you're set up as a business. So if you're a single member LLC, maybe you are taking draws from your business to pay yourself. If you are an S Corp, you're paying yourself through payroll on some type of salary. Same thing in a C Corp or a nonprofit organization that is set up with staff, right? And so you want to have your owner's pay account, a checking account that is taking or that you can separate your money specifically to pay you and any other owner that is part of the business. The next account that you will add to your list is your taxes, right? You want to have a specific account that the only job it has is to hold your taxes, to sit there and look pretty when it's ready to pay them every quarter or at the end of every year when you're working with your tax professional. And your last but not least, just to get the thing started, you want to have an expense account. And so this expense account is going to operate differently than when you first opened your first bank account as a business owner, right? As I mentioned before, when we first get started in business, oftentimes it's that one account that's doing everything, whether it's paying us or paying our expenses, and it's receiving all of the money. Well, with this new account that is just specifically this job is for expenses, this is the account that you're going to pay your expenses out of. So anything that comes to any platform or software that you're using for your business is coming out of this account. Any rent or any leases that you're paying for like a physical space is coming out of this account. Any conferences that you're attending or travel that you're taking is coming out of this account as far as your expenses. And this specific account, right, because it has this one job, it's going to change the way that your money flows through your business. And these are the smaller plates that we talked about earlier. So you have these bank accounts that you can see there's pockets of money here in my profit account. There's pockets of money here in my owner's pay account and taxes, expenses, and they all have a job so that you're not spending your profit money or your owner's pay money on paying your bills for your business. And the other thing with separating your money this way, as we talked about eating from smaller plates, now that you don't have a huge pool of money to just focus on and pay your expenses out of, if you are someone who is, familiar or used to bank balance accounting, well, now your expenses, the money that you can access for your expenses has been shrunk down, right, into this one specific account for your expenses. So it's going to also have an effect to make you look at your expenses differently. Like, do I need this to grow my business? Do I need this to run my business? Are there ways that I can cut the fat when it comes to managing my business? Because as entrepreneurs, we get marketed to all the time, right? There's always a platform. There's always this new planner or journal that you need. There's always like this new software is going to take all the weight and stress off of your shoulders. And those monthly subscriptions, they add up. I feel like every business is coming with some type of subscription model. And I'm not knocking the subscription model. Like, by all means, keep it going. But as you probably have seen in personal finance, as far as managing your own money, if you have Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, and all these different things, those subscriptions are going to add up, and there's but so much TV that you're going to be able to watch. And so it's same way in your business, the subscriptions for these different software and platforms add up. And oftentimes they're overlapping, or sometimes you're paying for a subscription that you're not even utilizing to the best of your ability for your business. And so definitely when it comes to getting these accounts open and starting to look at these accounts, you want to cut down on your expenses to say, like, do I really need this? Like asking the question to yourself for the business on, do you really need some of these platforms and services that you signed up for? And I want to give you all a clear overview of what things could look like as you're managing your money with these smaller plates in the Profit First system. So let's look at just like a simple chart or graph when it comes to your revenue in your business. And so if you have $250,000 in revenue this year, then these targets for your business are things that you're going to focus on. And even if you're not hitting these numbers now, all good. Don't worry. Like the book has a very clear-cut way that you can assess your business now, figure out where you are in regards to these targets, and set these as very clear goals for your business so that you can stabilize things and then stack towards your new business goals. But let's look at column A, right? So if you are making $250,000 in your business as far as your revenue, maybe you want to start with a target of 5% of your money is going to be kicked to the side for your profit. So what does that mean? If $250,000 is coming into your business this year, you want to make sure that $12,500 is sent to the side just for your profit. Like, to sit there, look pretty, do its thing over there, and then every quarter taking those profitable distributions. The other thing that you're going to do with your money, as we're talking about these smaller plates, is you're going to separate that $250,000 and you're going to send 50% over to your owner's pay account. That means $125,000 is going to be sent to the side to pay you or other owners of the business. This is important for the reason that you want to make sure that you're financially stable. And I'm not telling you that you have to pay yourself $125,000 out of this owner's pay account, but make sure that you're saving it, because you move different as a business owner and operator when you see that the business has 12 months, 24 months of money to pay you to keep the party going. Because at that point, then you're in growth mode. You start looking at things that you can offload to new employees or new team members or even new contractors, like in this time of us building business, that you're maybe accessing a VA or virtual assistant that can take care of some of these tasks for you. And now you can see, oh, well, I can afford to cover these expenses that have come in with new contractors or team members because my owner's pay is sitting pretty, right? And so for your tax account, you want to put 15% to the side. So that's $37,500 to the side, so that you don't have to worry about your taxes, right? And as we talk to Atia, she might tell you, hey, depending on your situation, we might need to amp that number up percentage-wise. But these are targets, and working with a tax professional is best so that you and your tax professional are on the same page. But just remember, like, you're the quarterback of the team. You're the person managing the whole situation and managing your money team. So as long as your tax professional knows what your targets are, what your goals are, they can help you manage your way and hit these numbers. And last but not least, your operating expenses will be 30% of your revenue. So that means that for this $250,000 that you brought in, $75,000 is being used throughout the year as your expenses. And not saying that you're going to use all $75,000 for this business, but just to let you know, like, how you can be thinking about seeing the money as it's coming in and as it's being separated into these smaller plates. And I know that we are we're talking about putting this process into action and really seeing different things for your business so that you can build a healthier business and really build a profitable business right off the rip as soon as you get started, right? And so whether you are in the presentation or even if you've read the book, it doesn't matter how much information you guys are taking in if you don't put these things to action. So if you've had challenges in the past, and I'm talking about in the past year when it comes to all the things that have happened under this retreat to home, or if you have had challenges managing your money in your business for years before things even started with COVID-19, as you get these different resources from Columbia OBO or from this presentation, or even from books and podcasts that you may have access to, it doesn't matter how many books you read or what books that you're reading if you do not put the information to action. And y'all can let me know, like, give me honest feedback. How has this presentation been? We're about to jump into Q&A with my CPA, Tia Brown. But give me an idea, like, if this has been helpful for you as you're thinking about managing your money with your business. And I'm going to pause things for a second to jump into this Q&A. But yeah, give me some feedback, honest feedback only. So I think Cheryl, awesome. Appreciate that. And yes, I can hear you. Go ahead, Selena.
We had a question earlier that, and you and Atia, if either one can answer or both can answer. Ari Foster and Shanita Brown wanted to know, what are your thoughts or your opinions on the new Square bank accounts?
Okay, great question. So the Square bank accounts, I'm not familiar with the business bank accounts from Square. I'm familiar with how Square has really morphed Cash App into this banking behemoth. As people got used to transferring money very quickly from person to person, they've given you access to account numbers and routing numbers so you can get direct deposit into personal accounts very easily. But I'm not familiar with business bank accounts for Square. And so if Atia is familiar, by all means, speak on it. But and before Atia jumps in here, I just want to reiterate like who she is and what she does, because she's a beast when it comes to this tax thing. She started her own her tax company, and as I mentioned, she saved her clients, including myself, over $4 million to this point. And she really on an accountant who is licensed both in the United States and in Canada. My Trini Jamaican sister, and but I think that as far as just answering the Square question, that's all I got. But Atia, I want to give you that quick introduction so the people them know who they're talking to. Did you have any experience with any Square accounts?
Thank you for that. Thanks. So with Square, what I like to tell people is to make sure that it has the backing of a bank. So are your funds backed by the FDIC? So should something happen, is your money protected? That's the main thing you want to look at when you look at these new banks. That's not to say that it can't be. So it might be a new bank that you can be using. It might be an online platform. So like Stephen was saying at the beginning, if you want to put your money in places that it's not going to be easy for you to access, so that you can actually stick to this plan of setting up the different bank accounts. So if Square does check that box off and you're comfortable with Square, you can use it that way. But I think what Stephen was trying to shoot home was that PayPal and Stripe, those are just payment processors. So your funds sit there, but it's not a bank. So should something happen, it's not protected, it's not guaranteed, it's not backed like the banks are. So you want to make sure that you're transferring that to your bank so that your funds are protected.
For sure. I appreciate that, Atia. Drive that thing home, because I've seen entrepreneurs who have had their money, who are doing very well, both product and service-based businesses, who are ramping up their revenue, and PayPal says, "Hey, I don't know what's going on, so I'm going to freeze all your money." And that's a wild situation to be in as an entrepreneur, especially if you are also a full-time entrepreneur. Before or during my time as focusing on entrepreneurship, like I was in corporate sales for 10 years. And so a lot of the things that I talk about when it comes to increasing your income and managing your money the way that I think we can, is really dependent on building that business properly and the way that you want to access the money to grow your business and yourself. But Kalina, did you have any other questions that jumped in the chat box? And for those who haven't asked questions yet, feel free to drop a question in the chat box, whether it is in relation to Profit First, whether it's in relation to building business, or if you have tax questions, because I brought Atia on here specifically to get your tax questions answered as a CPA who is licensed in 2 countries and who's worked with people across these 2 countries. I think that she is a perfect resource to have as we're talking about managing your money better as a business owner.
We don't have any questions, but we got a lot of comments and feedback. Awesome. Definitely good stuff. Okay, here's one question from Cheryl Sally. When should tax planning start?
So that's a great question. And one of my favorite quotes that I've heard is, how you do one thing is how you do all things. And it's always best when it comes to money to always be proactive than reactive. So like Stephen said, when you're starting this process, it's best to talk with a tax professional to see if your situation merits a strategy that you can implement currently. Because a lot of people think, oh, I don't have anything, so I don't need to have a tax plan. And that's the same thing that they think that when it comes to legacy planning, they think that when it comes to estate planning, they always think that they don't have enough, so they don't need to start, when in reality is they should start on the right foundation so that everything is in place when it needs to be in place. So I think the beginning is the best time for you to talk to somebody. You might not be the best candidate for a tax strategy right now, but you can be on your way to it. You can start putting things in place. You need to understand what your goals are so that we can know how to set up your tax strategy so that it's going to save you money as you start making it. Because a lot of people don't understand is when they go to their tax professionals at the end of the year, everything is already done. So there's really no planning that could be put into place because the situation is what it is. So when we start planning during the year, we know what savings you can actually have when it comes time to actually file your annual tax return. So I like to tell people to actually be proactive rather than reactive when it comes to your tax planning.
Okay, next question from Mariana. Are there any resources that you can suggest regarding planning taxes?
Yeah, so I like to tell people to start where you are. So you have a family right now. So you want to look at your family situation and how can you involve your family in your business? A lot of people think that, well, in social media, there's a whole thing about hiring your children and people think that that's not legitimate. It is legitimate. If you have a valid home-based business and you have children who are of an age that can help in the business, you can actually hire your children in your business legitimately. You just need to make sure that you have an employment contract. You need to make sure that they're doing a job that's applicable to their age, and you need to document when they do it. And think of the ways that you can. So you're going to hire your child. So now they're going to be involved in the business. They're going to be making income. So that's going to be earned income. Now you get into the retirement accounts. Retirement accounts need earned income for you to fund those accounts, for them to be valid so that your child can benefit from them when they hit a certain age. So you have now created this legacy for them, from them helping you in your business. So they're going to be excited to help mommy and daddy in their business. They're going to be making money and they're going to be helping their future because this money that they made is earned income and it's going to benefit them in tax ways in the future. So you can hire your children. You want to make sure you look at your business entity structure. Stephen mentioned a little bit, if you're a single member LLC, there are different business entity structures that you can be that are going to have different tax implications. So single member LLC, you're going to open the door to, do you want to be taxed as an S Corp? Do you think that your business will be better off as a C Corp? All of these decisions are going to have tax implications, but you want to make sure that you're understanding how they work. Stephen mentioned legacy, and that comes into play with, are you going to pass your business on to your children, or are you going to want to sell this business? Because selling a business is definitely something that happens. And if that's how you want to pass your business on, maybe a C Corp is the best scenario for you. So there are all of these things that you can take into consideration when you're talking about your business and how best to set it up.
Okay. One comment or question we got was the person asked for your contact information. I just posted it in the chat. I'll post it again. We got another question. Is a CPA the best resource to use for developing strategies for small business taxes?
Okay, so obviously I'm biased because I'm a CPA, but that doesn't mean that you have to be a CPA to come up with tax strategies. So I will let you guys know that the government is implementing regulations when it comes to being a tax preparer, because the industry wasn't regulated for a long time. And so there were a lot of people who could be handling your taxes that weren't regulated. It wasn't it. So that is actually being cracked down now. So you might want to make sure that the person that is actually helping you with your tax situation is certified and regulated. So that's going to be coming down the pipeline, because for a long time it hasn't been. But when it comes to tax strategies, you typically have your CPA, you have attorneys that you can work with, you have what we call enrolled agents. So enrolled agents, it's a certification that's actually given by the IRS. And so those people are very involved in the tax world. So that's another person that you might want to help you with your tax strategies.
And I'll just add really quick that I think that a resource that Atia didn't mention that I think that she should is that CPAs, you may not be able to access a CPA depending on where you are in your business. Like you may not have the money to say like, I'm going to work with a CPA off the rip, but you can access resources from CPAs. So for instance, like Atia has resources, both ebooks and programs that even if you can't work with her directly, like that you feel like you can't work with her directly, and implementing this profit first system, you're gonna have money to pay your CPA. Don't worry. But if you feel like you're just starting out and you don't have the money to get some tax planning done on the front end, definitely go to a CPA that you know, like, and trust, and get an idea of what are some things you can access for your business now, whether it's an ebook or some type of other program that you can use so that you can put a tax strategy or plan together. Because when you do get a CPA on board, if you haven't been using resources to plan for your taxes, then you may have to also pay your CPA to be your financial cleanup person, to get things back on track. And you want to get things as clean as cut as possible. So even if you don't feel like you can access a CPA with your finances right now, be sure to lean on resources, whether it's an ebook from a CPA or a course from a tax professional. Because as I talk to Atia every single week, like I have the benefit of doing that because we host a room on Clubhouse every single Tuesday for Tax Tuesday to answer questions for entrepreneurs. And, you know, anyone can pull up. So if y'all want to, it's usually at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time on Clubhouse. You can find both of us on Clubhouse and follow our club, the No Money Club. But when Atia's, you know, in that room and answering questions for entrepreneurs or people who are real estate investors or professionals, oftentimes, you know, they may just need a video to explain, hey, this is how you should do this. This is how you should think about setting up your business. This is how you should think about paying your children. And so be sure that you use resources like social media and follow the right people, and then access those, the professional resources from the people who know what they're talking about, that aren't just making memes for you to manage your business finances.
Okay. We got a comment from, and I know this is your name, Betty. If it's not, forgive me. She says, I am a new business owner and I'm in a startup phase. So Stephen, this is wonderful information to learn as I am getting started. Stephen, let me ask you a question. What are some people on social media or people that you follow when it comes down to finance, just to kind of give our audience, you know, maybe some other people other than you that they could follow or they could learn from regarding their finances for small businesses?
Sure, I'll give you two. One of them's on this call, but Atia creates a lot of content around tax strategies. So whether it's some of the questions that have been asked in this chat have been like, hey, how should I think about, you know, creating my business? Or when it comes to tax planning, what does that look like on the front end? She answers some of these questions to give you foundational ways to start thinking about these things for your business. So definitely follow Atia, and she is the savvy accountant across pretty much everything. She's most active on Instagram, but she will, pop in on Twitter every now and then if you ask her. And then another, accountant or tax professional that I definitely think that people can benefit from is Cofield Advisors. So it's COFIELD Advisors. Cofield has been, he's a CPA as well. He is a person who takes tax planning and strategy very serious. And he even dropped a course. What is his course called? I want to say it's a course called Tax Free Living that will help you as an entrepreneur understand what are the things that you can write off. Because, and I'll speak for myself here and the business owners that I've worked with in the past when it comes to consulting, but most people are scared of taxes. They have no idea what they're going to pay, how much taxes they're supposed to pay. They don't know if they're supposed to file on the 15th of March or the 15th of April or the 15th of October. They have all these questions that are swirling around. And so having people like Cofield and Atia, it makes things very easy because you can see very clear-cut answers to your simple questions. You don't have to buy a book and a course and all these different things to get some of these answers answered for you and your business. You can follow them and have them create consistent content that you can tap into. And I'm trying to think of a financial advisor that I would trust to send y'all to that makes content often. But I don't have a financial advisor that I follow that I can say, oh, they make a lot of great content that I think that you should tap into. But as we're talking about our business finances, definitely Atia and Cofield will have you sewed up. And if it comes to personal finances, follow me. I got you. And I'll send more people to you for you to follow.
Thank you.
You are welcome. And I see that there was a second half to a question that was answered or asked earlier that I don't know if we answered. And so I'll ask Atia this question on when do you think people should engage with a CPA in regards to their business? Did we answer that question?
We did.
Okay, we did? Okay, I'm tripping. My bad.
That's okay. But you can repeat it again just in case if someone didn't hear it the first time.
Yeah, so I think...
Okay. So Atia, by all means, go ahead and jump in.
I think the best time is going to be at the beginning. So even if, like Stephen said, if you can't afford to have a CPA on your payroll, that's somebody that you're paying on retainer, you can still afford a consultation. And you can have a consultation, let them know what your thoughts are so that they can guide you in the right direction. Because like Stephen said, I hate to say this, but it does cost more to fix issues than it costs for you to set things up the right way. So if you just get a consultation and then they walk you through what they think you need to be setting up, and then you can work on that piece on your own, that's always something that you can do if you can't afford to have them on retainer. But you at least want to get their input at the beginning so that, the foundation is set up right.
Yeah, I have a question, and maybe this is I was going to ask you, what are the top 3 issues you see with small businesses? And maybe one of those is not getting that accountant on board early on. But what are some other top issues you see that our small businesses need to be aware of?
Yeah, so coming back to my favorite thing as how you do one thing is how you do all things. And I think that organization is probably the biggest thing that takes small business owners down. Organization when it comes to understanding where your money is coming from and where your money is going, that is going to fall under organization. Organization that comes from understanding that you actually need someone to help with your finances. A lot of times when you're a small business owner, you're doing all the things and you're doing all the things because that's what you can afford. But if finances is not one of the things you do well, that can take everything down, because if you're not managing the finances correctly, everything can fall from that. And you could have a viable business, but it wasn't managed correctly. So I like to tell people that organization is something that's going to encompass a lot of errors, because so many things fall under there that can take you down, for a lack of better words. And now that with Profit First, it does involve having more accounts. So there are flip sides to it. It's great when you manage it correctly, but if you're not organized, you can stumble because things are getting transferred. You don't understand how they're getting transferred. You're going to be using funds from the wrong account. So you have to make sure that, unfortunately, a lot of things can, be handed off, but you want to make sure you get a handle on your organization skills, or you get someone on your team that can handle the organization of your financial house.
Mm. And I know that Atia mentioned that first thing as far as like the three things that she sees most often with business owners, but I'll just mention that I'm not a natural planner. Even as a financial wellness expert and someone who's helping people like in financial therapy sessions, helping them get a better idea of how their money looks, I am more of a free spirit than anything else. And so I wasn't managing my money like a financial planner would, even though people come to me as business owners and as for their personal finances. And so I like the system is like the biggest thing to me. Like that's what helps me get organized. And so I love what Atia mentioned as far as if you're not a planner, know that about yourself. Like get some awareness about yourself and your business, and just know that, hey, this is not my strength. Like this is not my superpower. I would like to focus on like the thing that is. And so I love that you said that. And I'm going to answer the same question as far as like the three things that I see business owners kind of fumble out. But go ahead, Atia. I didn't want to jump in too much.
No, you're good. You can go ahead.
Okay. Well, just really quick, like the three things that I see in regards to business owners, the mistakes that I see them make when they're building their business and managing their finances. The number one thing is that they don't know where their money is going to be coming from. And so they get an idea of what they want to sell as a product or a service or what they want to provide, but they're not clear on who's going to be paying them. So they think everyone is their customer. Like, oh, I think if I'm selling water, it's like, oh, everyone wants water. Like, I think everyone buy it from me. But I'm not getting clear as a business owner on who your target market is or who your customer is will be like one of the biggest downfalls for businesses that I work with. And you can get very clear on that just asking questions of the people who are your current customers. Like I've seen that we have some seasoned entrepreneurs in the presentation that have been in business for multiple years. Some of them have even passed the 5-year mark, the dreaded 5-year mark that the media would be telling us about. But as you're, growing your business and continuing your business, you want to get clear on the person that is like your customer. I know that my customer is a 35-year-old woman who has been to college, may have a second degree. She makes over $70,000 a year. Her financial stress includes like taking care of her parents and other family members because she may be a first-generation immigrant. And so knowing these things very quickly about my customer, I know that some of my clients and customers are on this call and I've never met y'all before. And so I think that that's one mistake that I see that business owners don't get clear on is who they're supposed to be serving and how they're going to be paying them. The second thing is that business owners oftentimes don't give themselves a space to focus at the beginning. And so what Atia mentioned as far as bringing somebody on to have as a planner, if you're not a planner, or to have bring somebody on who will help manage your marketing if you're not a social media marketer and don't have expertise in that area, but you need to communicate with your customers. I see people make mistakes on that, or seeing people not get clear on, oh, I need to bring in somebody who can give me some guidance for my business. Like you just have a great idea and you hit the ground running. There are several people that you can lean on and utilize like as you're growing your business. And so that's the second thing that I see. Like people want to do everything because they feel like they're just starting out. And I know that a jack of all trades and a master of none is better than a master who has one trade. But in regards to business, like we got to focus, y'all, just at the beginning of this thing. And I think that people who say like you want 7 streams of income are part of the problem in regards to us not doing this thing right, because your 7 streams of income, as I've been taught by Dominique Brown, who is a very successful entrepreneur. He's built several 7- and 8-figure businesses, but you should be building your ocean of income and taking your streams off of that ocean. And so if you don't focus on that one specific thing, on that ocean of income, and increase your focus and revenue and income in that one thing, and then decide like, oh, I can branch off from this specific thing and keep things vertical, or even branch off to something new that you've been interested in. Oftentimes, like, we stumble out of the blocks because we don't focus first. And so, so just going back, like, the first thing is knowing who your customer is. The second thing is trying to do too much, like as far as putting too much on your plate and not deciding to defer some of these tasks early on. And I would say, like, the third biggest mistake that I see new and existing business owners make is not leaning on an attorney when it comes to doing business. And when I was younger in business, I was like, man, attorneys cost so much money. What is going on? Why do I have to pay so much for this specific service? I got someone to review a contract for me, and I knew it was going to take her a few minutes, but she was like, yeah, it's going to be $350. And I was like, what? And so when I first started business, I was one of those people who were like, yeah, I can figure this out. Like, I can read, I can put things in place that I want as a business owner. I can look out for myself. But as I am a seasoned business owner, let's call it now, I hit up my attorney regularly. Like, I contact her for my trademarks that I own for no money. I contact her for any contracts that I send her any contracts that are not coming directly from me now that I have my specific contracts that I use. And another thing that I'll mention for attorneys is that if I didn't have this relationship with her, and we're and we're building this relationship with her, I wouldn't even have thought maybe 45 days to close it, just because I know the owner of the business. We both feel like he's a motivated seller, I'm a motivated buyer. We made all the details and cleared them all up before I even contacted my attorney. But once I contacted her and put her into this process, she started pulling out things and questions that I never even thought of. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm so glad that I came to you. And I actually talked to him the other day as we're heading to the finish line on this acquisition. I talked to the person who's selling the business, and he was saying that, he's learned so much because he decided not to get an attorney and to just use the attorney that I secured for our interests. And so, just make sure that as a business owner, you don't downplay what an attorney can do for you and what other financial professionals can do for you. As I mentioned, you are the manager of your team, and you should be telling people what you need, but trust the professionals that you bring on board, because that $350 contract that she reviewed ended up making me like $2,500. And so she more than paid for herself with the things that she asked me to do. But Atia, you can jump back in here with like your two other mistakes you see business owners make. I just wanted to get that off my chest in regards to what you were saying.
So I think you kind of hit them on the head. So organization is a big thing that I see people not like that they make a mistake with, not understanding where their money is coming in versus where it's going. So basically, like you said, they just do the bank check and then they start spending money, but they don't realize that there's other expenses coming down the pipeline. And so they get into trouble that way. And the third thing I think is not working with a trusted professional. So like maybe they think they can't afford it, or maybe they think that they don't need it. In my case, it would be working with a CPA. In your case, you're saying the attorney. But in both scenarios, you need to work with somebody that you trust, that has your best interest at heart, that you can actually go to with questions, and then not feeling like your questions are stupid, not feeling like you can't ask this question because, oh, you should know this. You should be able to work with somebody who you can ask all of your questions to and vet things out so that you feel comfortable, they feel comfortable. I mean, even the person selling the business felt comfortable with your attorney. So that shows that they knew what they were talking about. And so just relying on the people that you have brought into your circle, I think that's something that a lot of business owners, that's mistakes that they make.
Okay, we got another question that just came in the chat. They want to know, once you determine your target market, what is your best advice to grab customers in the start phase?
So once you determine your target market, if you're just starting a business, and please, if you ask this question or if you're a new entrepreneur, please write this down. So if you're a new entrepreneur, you determine your target market, you determine your customer, determine one, where these people are. So as everything is popping off with the retreat to home outside, a lot of these people are virtual, right? What platform do they hang out on? Are they on Facebook? Are they on Instagram? Are they on Twitter? Are they on Clubhouse, right? Once you find out who or where your target market or customers are hanging out, the next thing you want to do is provide value to them in that place or space. So when you're providing value to them, you're maybe giving them insight on, like, if in Atia's situation, she's an accountant, she's a CPA. She provides a ton of value to people just thinking about what they should do with their taxes. Like, very simple questions, she answers them via her social media. But if you are, let's say that you are a baker and you bake cakes, you bake the most delicious cakes in the state of South Carolina. Well, as you're making these cakes, maybe people who want to be bakers or who want to eat good desserts need some insight on, like, best places to find the best carrot cake. As y'all know, I am a foodie. I mentioned that earlier. I'm thinking about food right now. But when it comes, maybe you're telling them, like, where they can find the best carrot cake in the state, or maybe you're telling them how they can make, how they should or shouldn't use their baking pans when it comes to making a specific dessert. So adding some value to your customers or your would-be clients is important once you find out where they're hanging out at. The next thing that you want to do is offer your service at a discounted rate for a limited group of people. So this is what this will look like. If you're just starting, so I used to tutor students, right? I also had a resume writing and cover letter writing service, like, back in the day. So I used to be on my hustle. So when it came to, like, resumes, let's use this as an example. If I know that I'm a resume writer and a cover letter writer, and I know that people are looking for remote positions during COVID-19, they want more money during this time as well. Well, I'm going to go to people who have been engaging with the things that I've been sharing that have been valuable in whatever platform. And I'm going to ask them, like, hey, how are you looking on your job? Are you thinking about making a transition? Are you getting paid what you're worth at your current position? And they may say, like, oh, absolutely not. Like, if you ask most people if they're getting paid what they're worth, they're going to tell you no at the job. And so as you meet people that you can offer your service or product to, you make an agreement with them to say, hey, I can rewrite your resume. These are the values that you're going to get out of me rewriting your resume. It's going to be clean. It's going to be concise. It's going to communicate your transferable skills to your industry or other industries you want to go to. And you're going to give them the benefits of going with you. Like, you're going to be able to easily negotiate your salary with this new resume. You're going to be able to meet better executives with this new cover letter. Like, illustrating the benefits of working with you and, like, tapping into your product or service is important. But the most important thing that you can do is ask them for a testimonial. So once you find where they're hanging out at, once you give them some value, once you ask them if you can provide them the service at a discounted rate, it is only discounted for the first 5 people. And these 5 people are going to give you testimonials once you knock out this service for them and they put it into practice. So the reason why you need a testimonial from these folks is that social proof, people talk about word of mouth being, like, the best marketer. Social proof is literally word of mouth. I'm sharing the words out of Atia's mouth on why she thinks that you should work with me as a resume writer or a cover letter writer, right? And you cannot be the king or queen of your castle and the reporter at the same time. So if you're the business owner, if you're on social media saying, like, oh, y'all got to try this service, it's great, I'm fly, like, y'all got to buy it, like, this is exactly what you need, there are going to be less people who jump in on your product or service than there will be if you share a testimonial from Atia that says, hey, I use this service, I 2x'd my salary Thank you for rewriting my resume and my cover letter. And sharing that testimonial and asking a very, very specific question at the end of you sharing that testimonial: who else needs help like this? Or who else would like results like this? Then you'll have people who reach out to you to get that service as well. So if you are just starting out, and another thing that I'll mention really quick, if it's a product business, you don't have to have the product built out at the beginning. You can pre-sell some of these things. Like in the past, as an educator, like when people came to me and they wanted to build more speaking into their businesses, they took a course that I created. And when they first bought the course, I hadn't created the course yet. They paid me $1,500 for the course. And as I mentioned, it's a discounted rate. But I didn't start creating the course until people paid me the $1,500. So once I got 5 people that paid me $1,500, I made $7,500. I was like, all right, well, maybe I need to go put this course together. And so I think that when it comes to offering services, if you're a brand new entrepreneur, if you're new into this thing, or even if you're changing the way and pivoting how you're doing things, it's important to make those check boxes, like know where your customers are hanging out, know how to provide value to them on that platform, know how you can make a specialized service for them that they can get even more value from, but they'll provide a testimonial for you. And then share that testimonial with people in your network to ask, hey, do you need this service as well? I think that that'll help if you're in the startup phase.
Thank you so much, Stephen. This has been an amazing webinar. You always offer such great strategies that our attendees can go and implement as soon as they get off the call. So we appreciate that. We look forward to our continued partnership. Atia, thank you so much for joining us today. You were an added bonus to our webinar today, and you provided so much great information. So Stephen, thank you for that introduction. We hope to work with you again, Atia. Also want to give an opportunity for our partners if they have any words they want to say before we wrap everything up. Cheryl?
Wow. All I can say is wow right now. Mr. Hughes, Ms. Brown, I mean, they have really, to everybody on the call, they have really, really, really dropped some golden nuggets. Some great information. Thank you all so, so much. And the thing with us, with me, with everybody, right? We won't change. And Mr. Hughes started out in the beginning talking about, at the beginning of the year, we're making the resolutions to lose weight. We want change, but we oftentimes don't know what are the steps for change to happen. So we have the experts on, here who have given us the steps for change to happen in our personal and in our business. And you can't get any better than that. So I love it. I love it. I love it. So it's up to us to use what we received today so that we can grow better businesses and even personal. I'm going to use some things, that I've taken a lot of nuggets here today that I'm like, I need to open up another account or 2 or 3. But it's been really, really great. I heard assess, analyze, plan, strategize, develop the system, because it's all systems, and implement, and then look at it and do it again. So I thank you all. I thank you all so, so very much. So glad to be here. Action cures all. Stephen Hughes, I love it. I love it. Action cures all. And if we can do more about action and implementation, we will grow some healthy businesses and see some great change. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And check the checker. If business owners, if you have somebody else, helping you with your system, your financial system, always check the checker.
Thank you, Cheryl. Melissa, are you?
Yes,
okay.
I am. This is just phenomenal. I took some nuggets away also, Cheryl, for my own personal use as well. So thank you for not only providing the information, but also providing the motivation. I think all of us have been motivated on this call today, the webinar. Practical information, but just phenomenal. You broke it down for us in simple ways so that we can actually apply it to real life situations. And you great questions. You made us think about what we're doing, how we do it. So I thank you so very much. And we certainly look forward to having you, come back on and do some other things with us as well, both of you. I think it's nice to see, have the CPA on here telling us also, giving us that information. So it was phenomenal. It was a great webinar. I look forward to having you all do other things for us. Again, it's needed, it's appreciated, and thank you. Someone did ask Aisha if the webinar would be available later for them to watch again. So yes, it will be. The link will be sent out to everyone. And we actually have these on our social media platforms as well. So you can always go back and watch it, or you can go to the City of Columbia's YouTube channel and watch them there. So thank you. Aisha, great job pulling this together. We appreciate all of you. And if there's anything else that we can do to help you, grow, develop your business, let us know. We're here to help. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Angela, did you have anything final before we wrap up?
I said I wasn't going to say anything, but no, I'd be remiss if I didn't. Mr. Hughes, I started to do the happy dance and you was telling, I can't remember which platform you say is not considered a business bank account. But I sat on the RF team when they were giving money. I guess I was about to say donate. Green Dot is not a business bank account because you cannot walk into Green Dot. I see when the young lady who said that have to be FDIC, Square is FDIC, but you cannot walk into Square. You cannot, and I am so happy that you talked about this. So now that he told you all how to get your business in order, now you can come see SBA out alone. Because these are the nuggets that you need in order to get assistance. Me and Cheryl Aisha was just talking about this before we went live. There is still over billions of dollars in SBA idle loan funds that are out there because business has not gotten their business in order. Get your business in order and then come see us. Take these nuggets Mr. Hughes just giving out for free, for the low, as we say, for free, and get your stuff together so you can start getting that money. Because like I said, come December the 31st, and I was just talking to a gentleman today, and he's like, I just need the advance. He's talking about the $10,000. But if the government offer you $500,000, because that's the limit right now for small business, $500,000, come December, we don't know what the economy is going to look like right now. But a 30-year account at a fixed interest of 3.75, please tell me where you can beat that at. Please tell me someone don't have home loans at that low rate. But you can get $500,000 if they offer you that much. And if you have your financials in order, you can get it at a 3.75% interest rate right now up until December. So please take everything he said into consideration, get your taxes in order, and come see SBA. Well, don't come see SBA because we still working from home. But reach out to SBA, COVID-19 relief.sba.gov, and apply for this funding. There's still billions of dollars out there because we had to turn away so many people because they don't have their financials in order. So please take advantage of everything that you heard today. Go see Cheryl. She's in the office. I'm not. Go see Cheryl and her team and let them assist you with getting your finances in order so you can get some of this funding that if you're here in the city of Columbia, that they have, and like I stated, SBA still have. We are always giving. So make sure you take away what he said and get your finances in order. Thank you, Aisha.
Thank you, Angela. Stephen, Atia, do you have any final words? I promise we're wrapping it up. This is such great information. We could probably stay here all day and talk, but I do want to give you an opportunity to say any final words.
I'll just go first so Stephen can close it out. Thank you for having me. Like Stephen said, I truly enjoy taxes. It's like my passion and I love talking about it. So any opportunity that I have to come and share this information, I want my community as a whole to do better. And taxes is something that, like Stephen said, a lot of people are afraid of. So I'm here to remove that fear and hopefully let you guys know that it's not as scary as you think and everything is figure outable. So I'm happy to be here and share. So contact me if you guys have questions. I really answer my own like Instagram inboxes. So you guys can send me messages there.
Thank you so much.
Love it. I might, Angela, I might have to come and see you soon, just because the 3.75% interest rate is wild. But no, I want to say thank you again, not only to my tag team partner, Tia, my CPA, who jumped on this presentation to help you all also get clear on what tax planning and strategy looks like for your business, no matter what your vision is for your business. But also, I have to thank not only Aisha, but also Carla, who has been like working on the back end on putting y'all have no idea how much work they do to put these things together as far as these presentations. And so I love that they pour so much into the community as far as entrepreneurs and business owners, as well with Melissa. Like, they are a powerhouse team. And so just between the three people, like, I see y'all get a lot done. I see you've added Kalina and other people and partners in the place. And so I love to partner with y'all and want to keep the party going after this presentation as well. And last but not least, Cheryl mentioned that I live my life by 3 words: it's action cures all. And one thing that I've added to those 3 words at the top of this year was the word authentic. Because as a business owner, you don't want to have any doubts built up into the people who are working with you or who are coming in contact with you on what you're doing and why you're doing it. And so authentic action cures all. If you were in a position where you're not making as much money as you want to make, if you authentically think about how you want to serve your customers that we talked about earlier, and take action serving them, like things will figure out, like things will shake out. And similarly, like if you are like vulnerable and authentic to the professionals that you bring into your business, like a CPA or like an attorney or anyone else that helps you run this successful business, and you're authentic with them to show them what you want to do and where you are now, they'll meet you where you are. And so I just want to leave people with that. Take authentic action after this presentation. Read the book Profit First, listen to the audiobook Profit First, and access some of these resources so that you can put these things into action and not just see all of our beautiful brown faces this morning, but actually find things that you can use to build your business. And so I'll leave y'all with that. And as always, I've had a great time. Looking forward to doing it again soon.
Thank you, Stephen. And thank you for those kind words. It absolutely takes a team. And we have a great team at OBO. And thank you for their support on this call today. And we are here as a resource. If you have any questions about the resources that we provide, we'll be happy to schedule a call with you. As Melissa mentioned, I will be sending out an email. If you registered for this call, you'll receive an email with a survey, as well as a recording of this event and slides of the presentation. We hope you all stay safe and take care, and please contact our office if there's anything we can do for you. You have a great rest of your day. Bye.